Hey there, 10th Standard Warners. Are you ready to absolutely crush your political science board exams? Today, we are bringing you a highly targeted exam hacker masterclass explainer on Chapter 21, World Organizations. Specifically, we're going to dive really deep into the United Nations organization. We are taking all those dense, intimidating textbook paragraphs and transforming them into guaranteed marks for you. So, grab your notebooks, get focused, and let's decode exactly what the examiners are looking for.
Here is our battle plan for today. 1. The birth of the UNO. 2. Its aims and objectives. 3. The 6 main organs. 4. A massive spotlight on the highly tested Security Council. And 5. Agencies, achievements, and regional cooperation. Let's get right into it.
Part 1. The birth of the UNO. Let's look at the historical context.
So, to really understand why the UN even exists, we have to zoom out and look at the absolute chaos of the 20th century. The world had just witnessed the devastating failure of the League of Nations as the Second World War broke out in 1939. World leaders, guys like Winston Churchill, Joseph Stalin, and Franklin D. Roosevelt, realized they desperately needed a brand new global organization to secure lasting peace. In fact, it was President Roosevelt who literally coined the term United Nations. Fast forward a bit to June 1945, and delegates from 50 nations gathered to sign the UN Charter at the San Francisco Conference. But listen up. The absolute golden date you need to memorize for your exam is October 24, 1945. That's the day the UNO officially came into existence. Today, it has grown to 193 member nations, and the whole shebang is headquartered in New York City.
Moving on to Part 2, Aims and Objectives. Listen closely to this one, guys, because this is a very frequent 3-mark board question.
Okay, the crucial thing here is that if you get asked about the aims of the UN, you absolutely need to write these exact points derived straight from the 111 Article UN Charter. Imagine you're building a house of global peace, right? Your solid foundation is safeguarding international peace and security. Your walls are fostering cooperation among nations, and your roof is establishing faith in fundamental human rights, along with achieving international cooperation to solve problems and establishing justice and mutual trust. If you write these exact high-weightage bullet points on your exam paper, those 3 marks are absolutely guaranteed. Seriously, don't summarize them too much. Use the textbook's phrasing just to be perfectly safe.
All right, Part 3, the 6 main organs. Let's map out the UN's structure.
Think of the UN kind of like your school's ecosystem. In the center, you have the United Nations, and it branches out into 6 principal organs. You've got the big 3 political organs, the General Assembly, the Security Council, and the Secretariat. And then you have the specialized 3, the Economic and Social Council, the Trusteeship Council, and the International Court of Justice. Visualizing this exact map in your head will help you effortlessly recall all 6 when you're sitting in that high-pressure exam hall.
Let's see how this actually works by comparing the 2 biggest players, the General Assembly and the Security Council. You can think of the General Assembly as the global parliament. All 193 member countries are sitting in there, and they approve the annual budget. Now, major common student mistake alert here. Every single country can send up to 5 representatives to the General Assembly, but, and this is a massive but, they only get 1 single vote per country. Please don't let the examiner trick you on that. On the flip side, the Security Council is like the principal's cabinet. It only has 15 members in total, and they are the ones making the truly hard decisions, like actually deploying peacekeeping forces.
Part 4. We are putting a massive spotlight on the Security Council right now because examiners love this topic.
If you flip open your paper and see the question, "Explain the functions of the UN Security Council," I want you to smile, because you are about to secure 2 to 4 very easy marks. This question shows up in previous year's papers all the time.
And here is your exact mark-in scheme-approved answer. 1. It solves global problems peacefully. 2. If things get rough, it deploys the UN peacekeeping force. 3. It selects the judges for the International Court of Justice. And 4. It suggests the nomination for the UN Secretary-General. That's it. Just 4 simple, incredibly powerful points. Lock them into your memory right now.
Now, as we said, the Security Council has 15 members, but only 5 of them are permanent, and they hold the almighty veto power. To remember these 5 countries without blanking out mid-exam, use this literal cheat code, FRUBC. That's F for France, R for Russia, U for USA, B for Britain, and C for China. Just think FRUBC, and you've got the permanent 5 completely memorized. No sweat.
Part 5, Organ Breakdown of the ICJ and the Secretariat.
we're going to do a rapid-fire number drill right now to prevent some super common mix-ups. Ready? First number, 15. That is the exact number of judges sitting in the International Court of Justice, whose permanent seat is located way over at The Hague in the Netherlands.
Next number, 9. This is the number of years in a single ICJ judge's term. Trap alert here. Do not confuse the 15 judges with their 9-year term. It's 15 people serving for 9 years each. Keep those separate in your head.
And our last number is 5. This is the term length in years for the Secretary General. The Secretary General is the Chief Administrative Officer of the entire UN, running the Secretariat out of New York with other branches in Geneva, Vienna, and Nairobi.
Oh, and before we leave the ICJ, here's a fascinating local hero fact that will make your exam answers completely stand out to whoever is grading it. Did you know the very first Indian to ever be selected as the Chief Justice of the International Court was Benegal Narasingha Rao? And he hailed right from Mangalore, Karnataka? Dropping a detail like this shows the examiner you truly know your textbook inside and out. It's a great little flex.
Part 6, ECOSOC and the Trusteeship Council. Let's finish up the organs.
Think of ECOSOC as the heart of the UN's humanitarian work. It's got 54 members who are elected for 3-year terms, and their main job is to study massive global issues like health, education, and refugees, basically coordinating giant agencies like the WHO and FAO. On the flip side, we have the Trusteeship Council. Your main takeaway for this one is that it was originally designed to look after small territories without statehood, but today, it is practically inactive because there are virtually no trust territories left in the world.
Finally, Part 7, Agencies and Achievements, the UN's real global impact. Let's map out exactly what you need for the objective multiple choice section. The FAO is headquartered in Rome, and its job is to fight poverty and hunger. UNICEF, which actually won a Nobel Prize in 1965, focuses on the welfare and development of women and children. But definitely don't forget to memorize the acronyms for the rest of the gang. WHO for health, UNESCO for culture, the IMF and IBRD for global finance, the ILO for labor, and UNCTAD and the WTO for world trade. Make sure you review your textbook for their exact headquarters because they love asking about those. So, all of the UN's massive achievements basically fall into 3 buckets. First, peacekeeping in places like Congo, the Suez Canal, and Kashmir. Second, economic funding via GATT, the World Bank, and IMF loans. And third, social wins through the WHO and UNESCO. But remember, global peace isn't purely up to the UN alone. Examiners also really want you to know about regional cooperation. You've got to memorize these localized power blocks: the Commonwealth of Nations, SAARC for South Asia, the European Union, ASEAN for Southeast Asia, and the Organization of African Unity. They all work alongside the UN to boost local economies and secure borders.
As we wrap up this masterclass explainer today, I want to leave you with the very first, incredibly famous words of the UN Charter's preamble: "We the people of the United Nations." It's just a really powerful reminder that at the center of this massive, confusing worldwide bureaucracy of councils and agencies is the human element. It's the shared, global desire to protect the world from the horrors of war and poverty.
All right, you now have all the tools, the timelines, and the mnemonics you need to absolutely hack this exam chapter. But beyond the exam hall, consider this pretty provocative thought. With 193 very different member nations today, how will the UNO actually need to adapt and evolve to keep our world safe from the totally unpredictable conflicts of tomorrow? Keep that in mind as you study. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Stay focused, study smart, and go conquer those board exams. You've got this.